the street where you learn to understand English. It starts with footsteps. Not loud, not rushed, just steady, echoing against the pavement of a city that's slowly waking up. You don't know the name of the street yet. You just know how it feels. Cold morning air brushing against your face. The smell of coffee drifting from somewhere close. And that low hum of people. A kind of music only cities make. You hear snippets of conversations as you pass. A woman saying, "I'll text you when I'm close." A man laughing, "Nah, mate, not today." Two teenagers arguing over whose turn it is to pay. You catch the words, the tone, the rhythm. And for a second, it's all clear. No translation, no effort, just understanding. That's when you realize, this street isn't just a place, it's a moment. The one where English stops being something you study and starts being something you live. This is where it happens. Not in a classroom, not in a book, not in a grammar rule. Here, between a cafe window and a crossing light, English becomes alive. It moves in the air. It flows through laughter, hesitation, silence. You don't chase every word anymore. You follow the meaning, the emotion, the heartbeat of the language. Every sound, the closing of a door, the bus braking at the corner, someone saying cheers from a distance, becomes part of the conversation. Today, you'll walk this street. You'll listen, not just with your ears, but with your whole mind. You'll see how words live in rhythm. You'll feel how silence fills the gaps between them. Because this is the street where you learn to understand English. The morning you began to hear differently. The sun is just beginning to rise. The city's still half asleep, but life has already started moving. You step outside your apartment and pull your jacket closer. The street glows faintly with the reflection of streetlights on wet pavement. It must have rained during the night, the kind of soft rain that washes the world clean without asking permission. The smell of coffee hits you first. Then the sound, a rolling gate opening somewhere, a car door shutting, a laugh echoing down the block. You start walking. Every sound tells a story. The squeak of sneakers on concrete, the hum of a delivery truck idling, the clatter of plates from the cafe across the street. And then, voices. You don't understand everything, but you catch enough. A woman at the corner says, "Flat white, extra hot, yeah?" The barista replies, "Gotcha, coming right up." The words slip past you like music. They're not lessons anymore. They're life. You keep walking. A man in a blue jacket jogs past, muttering to his phone, "Yeah, mate, I'm almost there." A child tugs her mother's sleeve and says, "Can we get croissants today?" The mother laughs, "We'll see." You don't need subtitles. You get it. You feel it. Something inside you shifts. You're not listening for grammar. You're listening for rhythm, for emotion, for connection. You reach the end of the block and wait for the light to change. A cyclist stops next to you, tapping his foot impatiently. He glances your way and says, "Bit chilly this morning, huh?" You smile. "Yeah, but nice though." He grins, nods, and pedals off when the light turns green. A simple moment, a 2-second exchange. But your brain didn't hesitate. No translation, no mental delay. Just understanding. You keep walking. The sound of the city swells around you on buses, footsteps, voices. You're not outside the language anymore. You're inside it. By the time you reach the corner, the world feels louder, brighter, fuller. And it's not because the noise has changed. It's because you have. You stop for a second and close your eyes. The street is alive, and for the first time, you can hear every heartbeat of it. This is where it begins. This is where you start to understand English without thinking. This is the first sound of fluency. The coffee shop that spoke to you. You push open the cafe door, and the sound of the street fades. replaced by a warm hum of voices, soft music, and the hiss of steamed milk. The air smells like roasted beans and conversation. It's busy, but not rushed. Every sound seems to have its own rhythm, blending into one calm symphony. The barista behind the counter looks up with a practiced smile. "Morning, what can I get started for you?" You glance at the chalkboard menu. So many options. But you've already heard someone order before you. "Flat white, please." "Sure thing. Name?" "Afonso." "Cool. Take a seat. I'll bring it over." That's it. No thinking. No pause. Just flow. You move to a small table near the window. Outside, the city continues. People rushing, buses stopping. A siren far in the distance. Inside, a couple is laughing quietly. They're speaking fast, overlapping each other, but you understand the emotion behind every sound. She says, "You're impossible." And he grins, "And yet you're still here." You smile. You're learning through them. Not through notes or definitions, but through life happening in English. The barista sets down your cup. "Here you go. Careful, it's hot." "Thanks," you say, and she nods, already turning back to the counter. You take your first sip. Bitter. Perfect. The music changes. A soft acoustic guitar fills the air. A man near the back starts a conversation on his phone. His accent is thicker, words rolling fast. You catch fragments. "Presentations at 3? "No, not yet." Waiting on the final slides. You don't stop to translate. You let the sound wash over you like rain. You start recognizing rhythm instead of rules. Across from you, two women are talking about a trip to Italy. One says, "I swear the pasta was life-changing." The other laughs, "You say that about everything you eat." They both giggle. It's real, unfiltered, human. And without realizing it, you're nodding slightly. Because you understand. Not every word, not every phrase, but enough to connect, enough to feel. You notice a small blackboard on the counter. Today's quote, "You learn a language when you stop trying to understand every word." You read it twice, then 3 times. It feels like the world is speaking directly to you. When you leave the cafe, the door closes softly behind you. The air outside feels sharper now, cooler. The street sounds louder again. But this time it's not noise, it's meaning. Every voice you pass seems to tell a story. A delivery driver calls out, "Mate, mind the curb." A group of students laughs, tossing phrases like, "Seriously" and "No way." A child shouts, "Wait up, Mum!" And you hear everything. It's not perfect comprehension. It's something deeper. An instinct. You don't live in translation anymore. You live in English. And as you walk down the street with your coffee warming your hands, you realize something simple but powerful. You didn't just visit the cafe. You belonged there. The rain that taught you to listen. It happened suddenly. The sky that was gold a moment ago turns gray, and the first drops fall like quiet warnings. You stop under the awning of a corner shop, clutching the last of your coffee. The sound of the rain fills the air. Soft at first, then heavier, then all-consuming. It's not silence anymore. It's music. Every raindrop seems to strike a different rhythm. The roof, the glass, the puddles. You hear footsteps rushing, fabric brushing, voices changing as people hurry by. The city is still speaking. It just switched to a different language. One of rhythm, tone, and texture. Next to you, an old man with a gray beard and an umbrella turns and says, "Typical British weather, eh?" You smile. "Yeah, always catching people off guard." He chuckles. "Aye, keeps us humble though." You both stand there listening. Nothing else needs to be said. That's the thing about English. It's not always words that carry meaning. Sometimes it's the space between them. The small laugh, the shared silence, the tone that says more than the sentence ever could. A gust of wind pushes rain under the awning. You both shuffle back a little. The man says, "Reminds me of home, this sound. Used to sit by the window as a kid and count the seconds between thunder and lightning." You smile. "I used to do that too." "Then you get it," he says, nodding like you've shared something ancient and secret. The rain slows. The sound shifts, softer now, like breathing. The old man adjusts his hat. "Well, time to move along. Have a good one, mate." "You too," you say. He walks off into the drizzle, disappearing into the gray. You stay a little longer, listening. To everything. The rain, the footsteps, the faint sound of a doorbell ringing across the street. And then, something changes. You hear a voice through the rain from a small bookstore nearby. "Hey, you coming in or just enjoying the weather?" It's a woman, mid-30s, leaning against the doorway with a half smile. Her accent's soft but clear. You grin. Just waiting it out. She gestures inside. "You might as well do it with dry shoes." You step in. The smell of old paper and rain mixes in the air. It's warm inside, dimly lit, safe. She says, "It's cozy, right? Always feels like time slows down in here." You nod. "Feels like the city disappears." She laughs. "That's the idea. English weather makes book lovers out of everyone." Her name is Claire. She owns the shop. She tells you it used to belong to her father, that she kept it because it felt alive. The way people come in, talk, share, stay longer than they meant to. You listen. You ask questions. You respond. And in between, you realize you're doing it again. Thinking, speaking, reacting in English. Instinctively. You're not studying anymore. You're living the language. And this street, this rain, is teaching you something no teacher ever could. Fluency isn't just about understanding every word. It's about feeling at home in the language. The story, hidden between words. Inside the bookstore, the sound of the city fades away completely. It's like stepping into another world, one where time speaks softly. The shelves are tall, packed with stories from every century. The air smells like wood, dust, and memories. The kind of place where silence isn't empty. It's full. Claire moves behind the counter, flipping through a notebook. "It's been quiet today," she says. You look around. "Seems peaceful." "Nee, peaceful's a polite way to say slow," she laughs. "But I like it that way. People come in when they need to, not when they have to." Her words sink in deeper than she realizes. You nod, tracing your fingers along the spines of books. Titles whisper back. Belonging, stillness, how we speak. You pull one down and open it. The pages are soft, yellowed, fragile. The first line reads, "You never learn a language. You learn the people who speak it." You pause. That line feels alive. It's not advice, it's a truth. Claire glances at you. "That one gets everyone," she says. "It's by a linguist who lived in 3 countries and spoke 6 languages. He said fluency wasn't about words. It was about seeing life through another rhythm." You nod slowly. "That's exactly what it feels like." She leans against the counter. "You're not from here, right?" "Brazil," you answer. "Ah, you've got that calm way of speaking, like you're listening before you talk." You smile. "I guess I had to be. For a long time I was always trying to catch up, translating everything in my head. And now? Now I just let it happen." She grins. "That's it. That's the secret. You stop chasing English, and you let English come to you." Her phone buzzes. She checks it briefly, then says, "Sorry, deliveries. Always late." You wave it off. "All good. I should probably head out soon anyway." Claire nods. "Hey, keep that book. It's on the house. Consider it a welcome gift from this street. You hesitate. Really? Really? It belongs to someone who listens. You slip the book into your bag. The bell above the door jingles softly as you step back outside. The rain has stopped. The air smells clean, like a new start. You walk slowly, turning each word she said over in your mind. You never learn a language. You learn the people who speak it. And suddenly, you start hearing it everywhere, in the rhythm of passing cars, in the laughter spilling out of a nearby pub, in the voice of a man calling after his dog. The street has become your classroom, the world your teacher, and every sound, a lesson that no textbook could ever capture. The conversation that changed everything. The afternoon stretches into gold. The rain has dried, leaving puddles that mirror the sky. You walk slowly, book in your hand. The city quieter now, softer. Every step feels measured. Not rushed, not hesitant, just present. Then, at the far end of the street, you see something familiar. A bench, a small park, the same one you passed that morning. But this time, you sit. You open the book Claire gave you, its pages slightly damp from your walk. You start reading a random paragraph. We understand others not because we know their words, but because we share their silence. You pause. You read it again. And again. The air shifts. A group of students passes by, talking quickly, words spilling over each other. You understand some, not all, but their laughter fills the gaps. A man sits down beside you, maybe in his 60s. He holds a sandwich in one hand, a newspaper in the other. He glances at your book. Good read? You smile. Yeah, it's about language, kind of. He chuckles. Aren't all good books? His accent is thick, northern, warm, full of personality. At first, it's hard to catch every word, but something inside you adjusts. You focus less on the sound, more on the feeling. He asks, So, where are you from? Brazil. Ah, beautiful country. Good football, good coffee, and... He gestures to the book. Good readers, apparently. You both laugh. He takes a bite of his sandwich and says, You know, people think speaking's the hard part, but it's listening that takes heart. You tilt your head. What do you mean? Anyone can talk, but to listen, really listen, means you care about what's being said. Not just the words, but the person saying them. You let that sink in. He's right. And maybe that's what changed you. Somewhere between the cafe, the rain, and this park bench, you stopped trying to sound fluent. You started feeling fluent. The man stands, folds his newspaper, and says, Well, better get going. Nice chat, mate. Keep listening. That's where fluency hides. You nod. I will. He smiles. You already are. He walks off, disappearing into the sunlight that spills between buildings. You stay seated. You listen again. To the footsteps, the breeze, the city breathing. And that's when it hits you. Fluency was never about mastering words. It was about understanding people. About slowing down enough to hear the world, not just the dictionary. You look down at the book again. The same line stares back at you. Only now, it means something else entirely. We understand others not because we know their words, but because we share their silence. You smile. Because now, you get it. You're not learning English anymore. You're becoming part of it. The moment you finally belonged. The light has changed again. Late afternoon now. That time of day when everything slows down. The wind carries the smell of something familiar. Bread, maybe. Someone's baking nearby. The sound of the city has softened into background noise. You can hear your own thoughts now, and for once, they're not in translation. You walk further down the street and find yourself near the waterfront. The same stretch of path where tourists take pictures, where locals jog with headphones in. The sky is streaked with orange and violet. The world looks tired, but alive. A small crowd has gathered near a busker. A man with a guitar, playing softly, singing in a low voice that wraps around the fading light. You don't recognize the song. You don't need to. You feel it. The lyrics are simple. The story clear. Something about leaving, about staying, about finding your way back home. A young couple dances to it quietly, just swaying. Two kids clap along. The man next to you whispers, "He's good, yeah?" You nod. "Yeah, really good." Your words sound natural, effortless. You don't even notice how easily they come. When the song ends, a few people toss coins into his case. He smiles, thanks them softly. "Cheers, everyone. Appreciate it." Then he strums another chord and says, "One more for the road." You sit on the low wall by the water and just listen. You're not thinking about learning anymore. You're not correcting yourself. You're not afraid of missing a word. Because even when you don't understand something, you still get it. The world has stopped being foreign. After the song, the guitarist packs up. He looks over and says, "Thanks for sticking around, mate. Not many people do." You smile. "It was worth it." He nods. Music's like language, isn't it? You don't need to get every word. You just need to feel it. You pause, then say quietly, "Yeah, that's exactly what I've been learning." He laughs, slinging his guitar over his shoulder. Then you're ahead of most. He leaves. The street grows quieter. You look around, the people, the buildings, the fading light. Everything feels familiar now. You're not just standing in an English-speaking world. You're part of it. You understand its rhythm, its tone, its silence. A woman walks by, talking on the phone. "I'll be there in 10. Two friends shout across the road. "See you tomorrow." A bus passes. Its engine hums like a steady heartbeat. You're surrounded by sound, but you don't feel overwhelmed. You feel connected. It's all English, and all of it makes sense. You realize something profound. Fluency isn't the end of a road. It's the moment you stop noticing you've arrived. And somewhere deep inside, a small voice whispers, "This is it. This is what you came here for. Not to study, not to speak perfectly, but to belong." You take a deep breath. The evening air is cool. You close your eyes. And in the language that once felt distant, you finally feel at home. The street that stayed with you. Night settles slowly, as if the city doesn't want to let go of the light. The street lamps flicker on, one by one, washing the pavement in soft gold. The cafe you visited in the morning has its lights dimmed now. The same barista wipes down the counter, humming a tune you don't recognize but somehow understand. You stop outside, watching through the window. Inside, someone orders the same drink you had. "Flat white, please." The words float through the glass like a memory. You smile. You start walking again, tracing the same steps you took hours earlier. Past the bench, the bookstore, the corner where the rain caught you. Every place, every sound, feels different now. Not because the street has changed, but because you have. A group of teenagers runs past, laughing so hard one of them nearly trips. You catch bits of their conversation, inside jokes, slang, the messy rhythm of real English. A car honks, a dog barks, someone shouts, "Wait up," from across the road. You catch every sound, not perfectly, but instinctively. And that's when you realize the truth. This isn't just a street. This is your street, the one that turned English from a subject into a feeling, from something you practiced into something you lived. You pass the bookstore again. Through the window, Claire is rearranging books. She looks up, spots you, waves. You lift the small book she gave you and she smiles, like she knows what it means to you now. You remember the quote, "You never learn a language. You learn the people who speak it." You whisper it to yourself as you walk. And this time, it sounds like your own voice. Further down, you see the busker from earlier packing his guitar into its case. He notices you. "Hey, it's the listener," he says. You laugh. "That's me." He grins. "Keep that up. The world needs more listeners." "I'll try," you reply. He gives you a thumbs up. "You already are." You keep walking until the noise of the crowd fades behind you. The city quiets again. Not silent, but peaceful. You can still hear faint echoes, laughter, a door closing, a cab pulling away. The soundtrack of a world you once stood outside of, now beating in sync with you. You stop under a streetlight, look around, breathe in, the same air, the same street. But now it feels like home, because something has changed forever. You're no longer a visitor in this language. You're a voice within it, a listener, a speaker, a part of the rhythm. And as you take one last step before turning the corner, you realize you never learned English on this street. You became it. The sounds, the silences, the mistakes, the laughter, all of it, stitched together into something that finally feels complete. You glance back one last time, and the city hums softly, almost like it's whispering, "Welcome home."